Luna Hart never imagined her wedding would take place in a hospital room surrounded by life support machines. But here she was, 23 years old, wedding dress over a hospital gown, about to marry a man who wouldn't even look at her. Cassian Blackwood, 29, ruthless billionaire, CEO of Blackwood Enterprises, stood by the window, jaw tight, refusing to face the woman replacing his true bride. Because Luna was never supposed to be here. Seraphina Hart, Luna's twin sister, was the one meant to marry Cassian. She was the one Cassian had been obsessively in love with since he was 16. She was the one who agreed to the marriage to save the bankrupt Hart family. But 3 days before the wedding, Seraphina disappeared, just vanished, leaving behind a single note. "I'm sorry, Luna. I can't marry him. I love another man. Please forgive me." Their father, Marcus Hart, was on the edge of suicide. He owed $50 million to the Blackwoods, and the marriage was part of the deal to erase the debt. So Luna, always the sacrificial sister, always the one who cared for everyone else, did the unthinkable. She offered to take Seraphina's place, but there was one problem, a fatal problem. Luna was dying. She had end-stage dilated cardiomyopathy, her heart was failing. The doctors had given her 6 months to live, maybe less. She was on the transplant list, but the chances of finding a heart in time were nearly zero. Cassian knew none of this. No one knew, except Luna and her doctors. She had hidden her symptoms for months, unwilling to burden her already devastated family, and now she would marry Cassian, live as his wife for whatever time she had left, and die without anyone knowing she had saved them. The officiant began the ceremony. "Cassian Blackwood, do you take Luna Hart to be your lawful wife?" Silence. Cassian didn't answer immediately. He finally looked at Luna, really looked for the first time. What he saw shocked him. Luna was identical to Seraphina. They were twins after all. But something was different. Seraphina had fire in her eyes, arrogance, life. Luna had sadness, resignation, and something else he couldn't place, pain. "I do," he said at last, voice cold. "Luna Hart, do you?" "I do." Luna cut in quickly before she lost her nerve. "Then by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife." No applause, no joy. It was the saddest wedding anyone had ever witnessed. Cassian did not kiss the bride. He simply walked out of the room. Luna remained alone in her wedding dress, connected to machines, finally allowing her tears to fall. 6 months. I just have to survive 6 months as your wife. Then you'll be free, and I can finally rest. But fate had other plans. Because that night, when Luna finally arrived at the Blackwood mansion, something happened that changed everything. She collapsed on the main staircase, and when Cassian caught her in his arms and rushed her back to the hospital in panic, he found her medical file falling out of her purse. He read 4 words that froze his blood. Life expectancy, 6 months. When Luna woke up in the hospital again, Cassian was there. But this time, he wasn't distant. He was furious. 6 months? He threw her medical file onto the bed. "You're dying and didn't tell me." Luna closed her eyes, too exhausted to fight. "What does it matter? You don't care about me anyway." "This isn't about caring," Cassian roared. "This is about you making a fool out of me. You married me knowing you were going to die. That's convenient," Luna finished bitterly. "You'll be rid of me soon. You won't even need a divorce." Cassian froze, processing that. Then he said something Luna never expected. "You think I'm that much of a monster? That I'd be happy you're dying?" "You hate me," Luna said simply. "I replaced the woman you love. I'm just a living reminder that she's gone." "I don't," Cassian started, then stopped. Because she was right. He did hate Luna. Not for who she was, but for what she represented, the absence of Seraphina. But the idea of Luna dying suddenly filled him with something he didn't expect. Fear. "How many people know?" he finally asked. "Just my doctors. And now you. Your father doesn't know. He has enough problems. I won't be another burden." Cassian stared at her, disbelieving. "A burden," he repeated. "You're dying and you think you're a burden." Luna looked at him with those sad, exhausted eyes. "It's all I've ever been, Cassian. The less beautiful daughter, the less talented one, the one who stayed behind when the favorite ran away. Being a burden is all I know how to be." Something inside Cassian cracked at those words. For the first time, he really saw Luna, not as Seraphina's replacement, but as Luna. A woman who sacrificed everything, her health, her happiness, her future, to save a family that didn't even value her. "Where is Seraphina?" he asked suddenly. "I don't know, she didn't tell me. But you know she ran away with someone." Luna hesitated, then nodded. "With who?" A whisper. "With Dorian Gray, your best friend." The silence that followed crushed the room. Cassian didn't move. His face went pale, then red with fury. "Dorian," he whispered, voice low and deadly. "My best friend since we were 10, my business partner, the man I trusted with my life. Cassian, I'm sorry. He stole her from me." Cassian exploded, kicking a chair across the room. "And you knew and didn't tell me. She's my sister," Luna cried back, chest aching. I wouldn't betray her no matter how much she hurt me. Cassian stared at Luna, his dying wife defending the sister who abandoned her. You're unbelievably stupid, he said coldly, or unbelievably noble. I haven't decided which. Probably both, Luna whispered. Then she coughed hard. When she pulled her hand back, there was blood on it. Cassian's rage vanished instantly. Luna, I'm fine, she lied, wiping the blood away. It happens sometimes. No, you're not fine. Cassian pressed the call button, and I'm not letting you die. You can't stop. Watch me. His eyes were burning with a desperation he didn't understand. I have billions. I have connections. If there's a heart anywhere in the world that matches yours, I will find it. Why? Luna whispered. Why do you care? Cassian didn't have a good answer. He didn't even understand it himself. Hours ago, he hated this woman. Now, the thought of losing her made his chest tighten in a way he could barely comprehend. Because you're my wife, he finally said, and Blackwoods protect what's theirs. Before Luna could reply, the doctors rushed in. Her heart was failing again. While they stabilized her, Cassian stepped out and began making calls. He called every hospital, every specialist, every black market connection he could find. He offered $100 million to anyone who could locate a compatible heart. And he made one last call, to his private investigators, with one order: find Seraphina Hart and Dorian Gray. I don't care where they are, bring them back, now. If Luna was willing to die to save her family, maybe Seraphina ran for a reason deeper than love, maybe she knew something, and Cassian would find out, whatever it took. But what he didn't know was that the truth behind Seraphina's disappearance was far darker than anyone imagined, and when he discovered it, it would change everything. 2 weeks passed. Luna was deteriorating rapidly. The doctors were clear. Without a transplant in 30 days, she wouldn't survive. Cassian barely slept. He spent hours researching, making calls, visiting Luna in the hospital every day. He hired the best cardiologists in the world. No one had answers. Then his investigators finally found Seraphina and Dorian. They were hiding in a remote villa in Italy, and when Cassian confronted Seraphina, the truth she revealed was devastating. Cassian burst into the villa without warning, flanked by 2 guards. Dorian tried to step in front of Seraphina, but Cassian knocked him out with a single punch. You traitor, Cassian roared. You were my brother. Seraphina stepped between them. Stop, it's not his fault. Not his fault? You both betrayed me, and Luna is dying because you ran away. Seraphina went pale. What did you say? Luna, your sister, the one who sacrificed herself to clean up your mess. She's dying, Seraphina. Heart failure, 6 months at most. Seraphina stumbled, steadying herself against the wall. No, she didn't say anything, because she never does, Cassian snapped. She just suffers quietly while everyone uses her. You don't understand, Seraphina cried. I didn't know Luna was sick. She hid it from all of us. But I ran away because your grandfather threatened to kill me if I married you. Silence. What? Seraphina wiped her tears, voice trembling. 3 months ago, Benedict Blackwood, your grandfather, called me into a private meeting. He said he had investigated my family. He discovered my father was involved in money laundering and fraud. He said that if I married you, he would destroy my family completely. Prison, public scandal, total ruin. Cassian froze. My grandfather did that. There was also a plan B, Seraphina continued. If I disappeared quietly, pretending to run away for love, he would forgive my father's debt and bury all evidence of the crimes. He even suggested I run away with Dorian. He already knew Dorian and I had fallen in love. He orchestrated everything. Cassian felt the world tilt. Why would he do that? Seraphina hesitated. Because he wants you to marry Vivienne Sterling, the heiress of Sterling Oil, a marriage that would merge 2 empires. He said I was inadequate for the Blackwood family, that he would never allow you to marry me. Cassian swallowed hard. And Luna? He asked hoarsely. Did he know about Luna? Seraphina shook her head. No, Luna volunteered herself. If he had known there'd be a substitute bride, he would have stopped me anyway. But Luna acted so fast, no one could stop her. Cassian collapsed into a chair, mind spinning. His grandfather, the man he admired, the man who raised him after his parents died, had manipulated everything. There's more, Dorian said, slowly waking up and sitting up. Benedict didn't just threaten Seraphina. He offered me $50 million to remove her from the equation. I refused the money, but I agreed to run with her because I love her, and because I wasn't going to let Benedict destroy the Hart family. Cassian stared at the man who had been his best friend. You still betrayed me. You fell in love with the woman I loved. I fell in love with her first, Dorian confessed softly. Before you, remember when you introduced us 3 years ago? I already knew her. We met at a charity gala a year earlier. We had a connection. But then you fell for her, and I stepped aside because you were my brother. I suffered in silence for years. Cassian laughed bitterly. And now she's yours. And Luna is yours. Seraphina interrupted sharply. You married her, Cassian. You may hate her for not being me, but she is your wife, and she is dying because of you. Not because of me. Yes, because of you, Seraphina shouted. Because she loves you, you blind idiot, Cassian froze. What? Seraphina sighed, exhausted. Luna has been in love with you since she was 16. When our father mentioned the arranged marriage with me, she was devastated. But she never said anything because I was the beautiful one, the perfect one. She has always lived in my shadow, and when I ran away, she saw a chance to finally have you, even if it was only as a substitute, even knowing she was dying. Cassian felt punched in the stomach. Luna loved him? All those times she looked at him with those sad, tender eyes. It wasn't just resignation. It was unspoken love. I need to go, Cassian said, suddenly rising. Cassian, wait. Seraphina grabbed his arm. I'm coming with you. Luna needs a transplant, and I'm a match. Cassian stared. How do you know? We're identical twins, Seraphina said. Our genetic compatibility is perfect. If she needs a heart, I can give her part of mine. There are experimental procedures now. Partial transplant. Risky, but possible. Cassian's voice cracked. You would die for her? No, but I would risk my life for her, Seraphina said quietly. Luna protected me our entire lives. It's my turn to protect her. Cassian nodded. Then we leave. Now. 18 hours later, when they reached the hospital, they were too late. Luna had gone into cardiac arrest. Doctors were shouting, machines were screaming. Cassian burst into the room. Luna? But she didn't respond. Her body lay limp on the surgical table as alarms blared. We're losing her, a doctor shouted. No, Cassian lunged forward, but nurses held him back. Luna, don't leave me, not you too. For 15 agonizing minutes, the doctors fought. Finally, a faint heartbeat returned. Luna was alive, but in a coma, and her heart was failing so fast they had hours, not days. Do the transplant, Seraphina said immediately. Take whatever you need from me. The doctors explained the risks. Both sisters could die, but it was the only chance. Do it, Seraphina insisted. Cassian looked at the two sisters, one unconscious, one preparing to sacrifice everything. For the first time in his life, he prayed. Please, save her. I'll do anything. Just save Luna. The surgery lasted 14 hours. When it was over, both sisters were alive, but what Cassian would discover in the next 48 hours would change everything again. Luna woke up 5 days after the surgery. The first thing she saw was Cassian asleep in a chair beside her bed, holding her hand. He looked exhausted, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, deep shadows under his eyes. He stayed with me, Luna thought, her new heart pounding. When she moved her fingers, Cassian woke instantly. Luna, he whispered, eyes wide. You're awake. I'm alive, she croaked. How is that possible? Seraphina, Cassian said. She donated part of her heart. Experimental partial transplant. You both survived. Tears rolled down Luna's face. Sarah, is she okay? She is. She woke up yesterday. She's in the room next door. I need to see her. Later, Cassian gently interrupted. First, we need to talk. Luna nodded, noticing the intensity in his eyes. Cassian pulled the chair closer, still holding her hand. I was a monster to you, he began. From the moment we got married, I treated you like nothing. Less than nothing. And you didn't deserve that. Cassian, let me finish, he said softly. Seraphina told me everything. About my grandfather. About why she ran away. About how you feel about me. Luna paled. She had no right to tell you that. She had every right, Cassian replied. Because I was blind. Luna, you married me knowing you were dying. You loved me in silence. You suffered alone. And I hated you for not being someone else. You had every right to hate me. No, Cassian said sharply, voice trembling. I didn't, because you did nothing wrong. You just existed. And loved, and sacrificed, and I was too cruel to see it. He knelt beside her bed, eyes locked on hers. These past weeks, while you fought for your life, I realized something. Every time the doctors brought bad news, my world fell apart. Every time your heart stopped, mine did too. And when you were in surgery, I begged God to save you. He swallowed hard, not because I needed a wife, but because I couldn't imagine a world without you in it. Luna cried silently. You still love Seraphina. No, Cassian said immediately, surprising even himself. I loved the idea of Seraphina, the fantasy, the perfect illusion. But you, Luna, he cupped her face tenderly. You're real. You're strong when you should be broken, generous when you should be selfish, brave when you should be terrified. And somewhere between the hatred and the desperation, I fell in love with you. Not the substitute, not Seraphina's shadow. You, Luna. Cassian, don't. Luna pleaded. Don't say this out of pity or guilt. It's not pity, he said firmly. It's love. I love you, Luna Blackwood. And if you give me one chance, just one, I will spend the rest of my life proving it. Luna wanted to believe him, desperately, but, and your grandfather? He'll never accept this. He wants you to marry Vivienne Sterling. Cassian's expression darkened. My grandfather no longer controls my life. Actually, I have something to show you. He pulled an envelope from his pocket. While you were in surgery, I investigated him, and I found things. Documents about manipulation, threats, even criminal conspiracy. He didn't just blackmail Seraphina, he blackmailed dozens of people to build his empire. What are you going to do? I already did it, Cassian said. I presented evidence to the Blackwood Enterprises board. My grandfather was forced to resign. He has no more power, not over the company, not over me. Luna's jaw dropped. You destroyed your own grandfather. I protected my wife, he corrected. And my integrity. Benedict Blackwood built his empire on suffering. It ends with me. He kissed Luna's hand gently. So Luna, will you give me a chance? A real chance? To be a true couple? To build something real? Luna looked at the man she had loved secretly for years, a man who now looked at her as if she were precious. But before she could answer, the door burst open. Seraphina entered, pushed in a wheelchair by Dorian. Luna, she cried, rolling to the bed. The sisters embraced, sobbing. You idiot, Seraphina choked. Why didn't you tell me you were sick? You already had enough problems, Luna said. I'm your sister. Your problem is my problem. I know that now. Luna hugged her tighter. Thank you, for your heart, for your courage, for everything. I should have stayed, Seraphina whispered. I should have fought. Instead, I ran and left you to clean up my mess. You did what you had to do, Luna forgave. And in the end, maybe everything happened the way it needed to. Seraphina looked between Cassian and Luna, noticing the way they gazed at each other. Are you two together, for real? Cassian looked at Luna, waiting. Luna breathed in. If he truly wants me, not as a substitute, but as Luna, forever. Luna smiled, her first genuine smile in months. Then yes, I'm willing to try. Cassian kissed her, softly, tenderly, a kiss of promise, a kiss of beginning. Seraphina wiped tears, smiling. Finally, you both deserve happiness. Dorian spoke up timidly. Cassian, I'm sorry, for everything. Cassian looked at him. Part of him still hurt, but another part understood. Do you love her? More than my own life. Will you treat her well? Never hurt her? I swear it. Cassian nodded slowly. Then maybe we can rebuild our friendship. Not today, but someday. Dorian nodded gratefully. The door opened again. Dr. Harrison, the chief cardiac surgeon, entered. Mrs. Blackwood, I need to inform you of something important. What is it? The transplant was successful. Your heart is functioning perfectly, but there is an unexpected side effect. Everyone froze. What kind of side effect? Dr. Harrison hesitated. Then, you're pregnant. Silence. What? Luna whispered. 3 weeks, based on our estimates. Which means you conceived roughly a week after your wedding. All eyes turned to Cassian, who had gone pale. The wedding night, he murmured. I drank too much. I remember you taking care of me. I was emotional about Seraphina. And then Luna nodded, flushing. You were vulnerable, so was I. It happened. I didn't think I could get pregnant. Not with how sick I was. Cassian's voice broke. Is it dangerous? For you? With the transplant? With your condition? High risk, Dr. Harrison admitted. But possible. The pregnancy will strain your new heart. There will be challenges, but with careful monitoring, you can carry this baby. Luna placed a trembling hand over her stomach. A baby. Cassian's baby, Cassian asked softly. Luna looked at him, at Seraphina, at the fragile new life inside her. I want this baby, she said. Our family began with lies and substitutions, but this baby will be made of something real, of love, of hope. Cassian pulled Luna into his arms, holding her like she was the most precious treasure on earth. Then we'll have this baby, he whispered, and I'll be by your side, every step of the way. In that moment, surrounded by a fractured family finally healing, Luna believed it. Maybe, just maybe, happy endings were possible. But no one knew that Benedict Blackwood wasn't done yet, and what he planned next would destroy everything they'd built. 3 months had passed. Luna was in her second trimester, and despite the risks, the pregnancy was progressing well. She and Cassian had moved to a new property, far from Blackwood Manor, far from Benedict. Seraphina had fully recovered and married Dorian in an intimate ceremony. The sisters, once separated by fate, were now closer than ever. Cassian rebuilt Blackwood Enterprises with integrity, cleaning up his grandfather's dirty business. The company lost some illegal contracts, but gained global respect. Everything seemed perfect, a little too perfect. Benedict Blackwood, now 73, sat alone in his penthouse apartment, staring out at the city he once controlled. He had lost everything. The company, the respect, the family, and all because of her. Luna. The pathetic substitute who stole his grandson. Cassian should have married Vivienne Sterling, Benedict thought bitterly. That union would have made the Blackwoods the most powerful family in America. But no, he chose that, dying nobody. Benedict was not a man who accepted defeat. He made a call. Victor Crane, a voice on the other end answered. Victor Crane was the most dangerous man in the underworld, a professional killer, information broker, owner of illegal schemes no law could touch. I need a favor, Benedict said. Benedict Blackwood, Victor laughed. I heard you fell from grace. What does the great patriarch want from me? Revenge. Against whom? My grandson, and his wife. Silence. Then, you want me to kill your own family? Don't kill them, Benedict corrected. But make Luna suffer, make Cassian regret it, destroy everything they've built. That's going to cost you, Victor replied. I have 500 million hidden in offshore accounts. Half now, half when it's done. Deal, Victor agreed. What exactly do you want? Benedict smiled cruelly. Luna's pregnancy. End it. Make it look like a natural medical complication. She loses the baby, Cassian blames himself. The marriage falls apart. No blood on my hands, just nature taking its course. Consider it done. A week later, Luna was at the hospital for her routine checkup. Cassian was with her as always. The nurse who came to draw blood was new. Nurse Claire, her badge read. First time taking care of you, Mrs. Blackwood, she said with a sweet smile. You must be excited about the baby. Very, Luna smiled back. The nurse inserted the needle, drew the blood, and left. What Luna didn't see was the extra liquid the nurse injected into her IV line while adjusting the bag. Misoprostol, a drug used to induce miscarriage. 6 hours later, Luna started to feel cramps. Cassian, she called, her voice tense. Something's wrong. What? What are you feeling? Pain. A lot of pain, she grabbed her stomach. And bleeding. Cassian immediately called Dr. Harrison, who sent an ambulance. At the hospital, the doctors ran tests. Mrs. Blackwood, your uterus is contracting prematurely, Dr. Harrison explained, worried. We're trying to stop it, but what? Cassian demanded. It looks like a threatened miscarriage. If we can't stabilize it. No, Luna whispered, tears streaming down her face. Not my baby. Please, not my baby. Cassian held her hand, helpless. But then something strange happened. Dr. Harrison received Luna's blood test results. This doesn't make sense, he murmured. What doesn't make sense? Cassian asked. There are traces of misoprostol in her blood, an abortive drug, but she didn't take anything like that, did she? No, Luna cried. Never. I want this baby. Then someone drugged you, Dr. Harrison said, horrified. Cassian froze, then exploded. Security, lock down this hospital, no one in or out. He called his investigators. Review all security footage from the last 24 hours. Someone poisoned my wife. It took 3 hours, but they found her. Except there was no Nurse Claire employed at the hospital. She'd used fake credentials. And the camera showed her leaving the hospital and getting into a car registered to a shell company tied to Victor Crane. And Victor Crane had known connections to only one person willing to hurt Luna, Benedict Blackwood. Cassian stormed his grandfather's apartment with security and police. Benedict was there, drinking scotch, unfazed. Grandson, he said casually, to what do I owe this melodramatic visit? You tried to kill my child, Cassian said, his voice dangerously calm. You poisoned my wife. Prove it, Benedict smiled. I can, Cassian threw photos onto the table. Victor Crane, wire transfers from your offshore account, security footage, witnesses, I have everything, Benedict. Benedict's smile faltered. You wouldn't do anything to me. I'm your grandfather, your blood. You stopped being my family the moment you went after mine, Cassian said. Officers, arrest him. The officers moved in. Benedict tried to fight, but it was useless. You'll regret this, he shouted as they dragged him away. You chose some random woman over your own blood. No, Cassian said calmly. I chose love over hate, and I would choose Luna 1,000,000 times. When Cassian returned to the hospital, Luna was still in emergency surgery. The doctors were doing everything they could to save the baby. Cassian waited, and waited, and waited. Seraphina and Dorian arrived, offering support. She'll be okay, Seraphina said, holding Cassian's hand. Luna is strong, she always has been. Finally, after 8 torturous hours, Dr. Harrison came out of surgery. His face was serious. Cassian, he began. No, Cassian whispered. Don't tell me that. Luna is alive, Dr. Harrison said quickly. But, the baby is alive too. We managed to stop the contractions, but it was very close. Luna will need absolute rest for the rest of the pregnancy. Any stress could trigger a premature birth. Cassian fell to his knees in relief. They're both alive. Yes, but Cassian, Dr. Harrison hesitated. Luna went through extreme trauma, physical and emotional. She'll need support, love, patience. She'll have it, Cassian promised. Everything she needs, forever. When Luna woke up, Cassian was there, holding her hand. The baby were her first words. Alive. Cassian smiled through tears. Our baby is alive, thanks to you. You fought, and you won. Luna began to cry in relief. And Benedict? In prison. He'll spend the rest of his life there. I'm sorry, Luna said, that your family. You are my family, Cassian interrupted. You're my real family. Blood means nothing if there's no love. He kissed her forehead gently. And I love you, Luna Blackwood. More than I ever thought I could love anyone. I love you too, Luna whispered. I always have. I always will. In that moment, despite all the trauma, all the pain, all the almost tragedy, they had hope. Hope for a future, for a family, for true lasting love. But there was still one last challenge ahead. 6 months later, Luna was in her 39th week of pregnancy. Against all odds, the transplanted heart, the poisoning, the medical risks, she and the baby had made it this far. It was a quiet night. Luna was at home reading a book when she felt the first contraction. Cassian, she called calmly. He rushed in from the kitchen. What is it? It's time, she smiled. Our baby is coming. Cassian completely panicked. Now? But the bags. Where are the bags? And the car? Where's the car? Luna laughed despite the pain. Cassian, breathe, we have time. Time? You're in labor, we do not have time. Seraphina, who was temporarily staying with them to help, appeared in the doorway. Cassian, you're hysterical. Luna, let's go to the hospital. Labor lasted 14 hours. They were the longest 14 hours of Cassian's life. He held Luna's hand, wiped her forehead, whispered words of encouragement, and nearly fainted 3 times. Luna, on the other hand, was incredibly strong. Despite the pain, despite the exhaustion, she kept going. You're almost there, Luna, Dr. Harrison encouraged. One more push. And then, a cry. Loud, strong, perfect. It's a girl, Dr. Harrison announced, placing the baby in Luna's arms. Luna looked down at the tiny life she was holding. Dark hair, eyes still closed, perfect in every way. She's beautiful, Luna whispered, tears of joy streaming down her face. Cassian gently touched the baby's tiny hand, which immediately wrapped around his finger. She's perfect, he said, his voice breaking with emotion. You're perfect, Luna. You did this. You brought our daughter into the world. We did, Luna corrected. Together. What are we going to name her? Cassian asked. Luna had already decided. Hope, she said. Hope Seraphina Blackwood. Because she is our hope, and because her aunt saved her. Seraphina, watching from the doorway, burst into tears. You're going to make me cry forever, I swear. The first months of parenthood were chaotic. Diapers, sleepless nights, crying, confusion, but they were also magical. Cassian, the ruthless CEO who never smiled in meetings, completely melted whenever Hope looked at him. He woke up for night feedings, changed diapers, sang horribly off-key lullabies. Luna, still recovering from pregnancy and closely monitoring her transplanted heart, was a natural mother, patient, loving, strong. Seraphina and Dorian were the perfect godparents, always available to babysit, always bringing too many gifts. The Hart family finally united and healed. 1 year later, it was Hope's first birthday. The family gathered in the garden of the Blackwood estate, now truly theirs, no longer under Benedict's shadow. Hope was taking her first wobbly steps as everyone applauded. Come to Daddy, Cassian encouraged, kneeling with his arms open. Hope took 3 steps and fell into his arms, laughing. Luna watched with a smile, one hand resting on her stomach, where a second baby was growing. Yes, against all medical odds, Luna was pregnant again. This time, the doctors were confident. Her heart was strong, her body had adapted. She was healthy. Cassian didn't know yet. She planned to tell him tonight. After the guests left and Hope was asleep, Luna led Cassian into the garden. I need to show you something, she said. What is it? She handed him an envelope. Cassian opened it. Inside was an ultrasound and a note. Hope is going to be a big sister. Surprise. He looked up, eyes wide. You're again. Luna nodded, nervous. I know it's soon, and there are risks, but the doctors say everything is fine. My heart is strong, and I want this. I want our family. If you want it too. Cassian pulled her into his arms, spinning her carefully. If I want it. He laughed through tears. Luna, I want everything with you. More babies, more years, more life, everything. He kissed her deeply, passionately. When they pulled apart, they were both laughing and crying. How many babies do you want? Luna asked. As many as you can safely have, Cassian replied. 2, 4, 10, I don't care, as long as it's with you. How about we stop at 3? Luna suggested, laughing. Deal. 5 years later, final epilogue. The Blackwood house was full of life. Hope, now 6, chased her brother Noah, 4, through the garden. The youngest, Grace, 2, tried to keep up but kept falling and laughing. Luna and Cassian watched from the terrace, hand in hand. Do you ever regret it? Cassian asked. Everything you went through, the suffering, the near death? Luna thought about the journey, the illness, the replacement marriage, Cassian's initial hatred, the poisoning, the risks. No, she said finally. Because it all led me here, to you, to them, she gestured toward the children. To a life I never dreamed was possible. You saved me too, you know, Cassian said softly. I was becoming just like Benedict, cold, calculating, obsessed with power. But you showed me what really matters. Love? Luna guessed. Family, Cassian corrected. The family we choose, the family we build with love, not blood or obligation. Seraphina and Dorian arrived then, bringing their own children, 3-year-old twins. Sorry we're late, Seraphina called. We tried to put the kids to sleep and… We completely understand, Luna laughed. The two families spent the afternoon together, laughing, eating, watching the children play. That night, after everyone left, Luna tucked the kids into bed. She stopped in Hope's room, watching her daughter sleep. You know what's funny? She whispered to Cassian. You once told me I was a burden, that I was just a substitute. Luna, I was an idiot. Let me finish, she interrupted gently. You said it, and for a moment I believed it. But now I know the truth. I was never the substitute. I was the real story all along. Seraphina was just the prologue. You and me? We're the whole book. Cassian kissed her temple. The best book I've ever read. That night, lying in bed, Luna touched her chest, where her heart, half hers and half Seraphina's, beat steadily. She thought about all the women before her, the ones who loved impossibly, who sacrificed until they disappeared. And she made a silent promise. I will teach my daughters that they are never substitutes, that they are never burdens, that they are whole, precious, and loved exactly as they are. I will break the cycle of women who sacrifice themselves until they vanish. I will show them that true love does not require you to disappear. It allows you to bloom. Cassian felt her shift beside him. What are you thinking about? He asked. Legacies, Luna said. The legacy we're leaving. And what legacy is that? That love heals, that forgiveness frees, that family isn't about perfection but about presence, and that sometimes the substitute becomes the main story. And that's okay. Cassian pulled her closer. You were never a substitute, Luna. You were always the protagonist. I was just reading the wrong story. But you found the right one in the end. No, Cassian corrected softly. The right story found me. And I'm never letting it go. Years later, Hope Blackwood, now an adult, would write a book about her parents. The title? The Bride Who Was Never Supposed to Exist. How My Mother Turned Substitution into Destiny. And the dedication would read, To Mom, who taught me that true love is not found in perfection, but in the choice to stay, to fight, to forgive, to rebuild. You were told you were a substitute, but you proved you were irreplaceable. This is your story and I am your living legacy. I love you forever. Hope.